This is call to order. This is a meeting of the South Kingstown Sustainability Committee. It's Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, 6:05 p.m. Do roll call.
Gail Meisner,
Christine Mueller.
Kim Falcone, Joanne Riccitelli,
Elizabeth Hoy.
And Janine Silversmith, Vice Chair.
Mark Russo, Staff Liaison for the Town of South Kingstown.
Great. First thing is the approval of the minutes for the December 16th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? All in favor? Oh, wait, any discussion?
Any discussion?
Right. Did you have a?
No.
No, you're all set? Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay. All right, that passes. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Moving on to correspondence and public comment. So the first item is, Gail, you had said something along about the CPRG, which I don't know, I don't remember what that stands for.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I'm not, it's on here. It stands for the Climate Pollution Reduction Grants. And I think this originated in the northern part of the state, but all I know about it, it says Providence Warwick region. This was forwarded to me by somebody on the school recycling club.
The
email
Rhode Island
chain.
Schools
School
Recycling Project.
Project. Wow. To be different sometime very soon. We're going to change it again because I think I have a mental block. I don't like the name. Anyway, it was forwarded, and I think it came from this RIEC3. Is that how you say it? The
EC4.
Council.
The Rhode Island EC4 is the Rhode Island Executive Climate Change Coordinating Council. And that's where it came from.
I think, right.
Yeah.
So all it is a survey that, and I am assuming it's still available. It was when I forwarded it. It's,
Yeah, so it's through the end of the month.
It's just taking inventory on what people want to prioritize. And it's a whole slew of environmental initiatives and what do you care about and what's important. And I did it, and I pretty much said it's all important. So I just feel like we should all talk to the survey.
All right. Can we have the minutes reflect the link? Oh, we won't be getting them till it's due anyway, right?
This went out. Mark sent this out with,
Yeah.
I
was
can
just-
send it again if you want. No?
Is that okay?
Oh,
Can you?
is that okay?
Yeah, well, I think I sent that out to everybody
You did,
back
yeah, I
when
did.
you sent it to me, so.
And it's also attached to the.
Mhm.
So
The
then,
agenda.
that's
There's
fine.
somewhere
I will
today.
find it. Oops, I forgot to forward that text. I will find it. No
Or you
need to
can-
resend it.
or you can hit the QR before you leave today.
Right, there
too,
you go.
Right there.
Thank you. Nope. Io parlo italiano. All right. Thank you very much, Gail. Anyone else have any comments or want to say anything about that?
Mm.
Okay. I tend to race through agendas, so
It's okay.
Go for it. Well, I do want to let people talk, but sure. Great.
Yeah, I worked all last weekend, so let's do.
Okay, great. We'll get Mark at home and into bed soon. Grant award to Aquidneck Community Table. So this is an organization I know a little bit about. Was this sent to you, Mark, or
I think it was through,
maybe it was me?
It may have been.
it was a substantial grant.
It-
It was several $100,000.
Did that get sent along? I was looking for that in my email. I couldn't find it. Did you send it to us?
But maybe it was Mark de Morinville sent it to us,
Oh, okay.
and then,
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Oh, here it is. It was in What's Up, Newport.
Right.
So Aquidneck Community Table, ACT, was awarded just shy of $750,000 to expand food and composting education in Newport schools.
Cool.
That is exciting.
Where did that come?
It is from EPA to markedly reduce food waste in Rhode Island. Like that's how it's Oh, and the Rhode Island Food Policy Council is part of that. So the grant was awarded to,
To multiple entities, is you're saying that the Food Policy Council was one of the awardees?
from the U.S.
Is this a follow-up of, I think over the summer, the Rhode Island Food Policy Council was meeting with
11th hour? No.
multiple municipalities about, like, that were ready to go with the composting, and then weren't they gonna be the go-between? They were gonna apply for the EPA grant on behalf, like, paired with municipality?
I think that might be right, because that was the report that that the town, South Kingstown was mentioned in.
Right.
And it did say something in there about going further with a couple of communities.
Right,
So
'cause-
that might be what that is.
With the Rhode Island Food Policy Council, didn't they meet not necessarily with us, but with town leaders?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, upon reading this a little bit more slowly, the funding for ACT is coming from EPA and the Food Policy Council, because ACT is in this article thanking both EPA and the Food Policy Council. So, I'm assuming that the Food Policy Council received funds and they're supporting this as well, right? So I know, even though I think she's going out on maternity soon, but I know the director of ACT, and of course, you know, a lot of us know the folks at Road Food Policy Council, but I wonder if it's worth, I don't mind reaching out to them to just find out a little bit more, and then maybe we can revisit it in a future month.
Yeah, if you could find out what their timetable is and when they're gonna do what they're gonna do and when they're gonna do it, then maybe when they have some feedback, then we can figure out if we can do something else too.
Is
Yeah.
Isn't that Mary Kate? Is that she is
Mary Kate Kane.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to follow up on that. Thank you. So it looks like it's not just about composting in the schools and also an in-school garden, but a new incentive program to promote composting among school families.
Oh.
And it's all three schools, so Pell Elementary, Thompson Middle, and Rogers High School, which are the only three schools in Newport, I believe.
So that's interesting. So
They consolidated all the elementary schools years ago to make them into one Pell, and it's hard because kids are coming from longer distances and stuff. But yeah, there's only one elementary.
So we're at Pell. I mean, Pell is composting, and they're sending some to the garden.
We
and
meaning
ACT. Oh, we
schools.
We whatever my
Your day,
organization is
huh?
called.
Okay.
The name you don't like.
Yeah. So that's really just the two that are left. And is it Aquidneck Island? It's
Newport, just Newport.
just Newport. It's not Middletown.
Looks like just Newport. Cool.
Good for them.
Yeah, fantastic. Because then they can work out all the bumps, and then we can do it in South Kingstown at some point.
Right. Once they figured it all out.
I love when other people pilot things.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Anything else about that? All right, moving on to the discussion. I am vice chair. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Again. And I took on being vice chair months ago and saying there's no way I can be chair because of my workload and such. So that is that, and you all know that, but I wanted Kim to know. Happy to chair today and when needed. But we need to vote in a new committee chair. I wonder if there are any motions.
I would make a motion to nominate Joanne.
Do I have a second?
Second?
So discussion.
Well, the question is, how does Joanna feel?
Let's
Okay,
talk about you in the
discussion.
third. Let's talk about Joanne in the third person.
Okay, well, Joanne thinks that. I think, yes, I can take this on. I think that I would like to, do it for a year and then revisit. I mean, the only experience I have with a chair is Mark, who was chair the whole time I've been here and then left, and I would hate for the only way to not be chair anymore is to leave the committee, you know? So, and it might be nice to have it rotate or just, I don't, because it was such a surprise last
Yes.
month that Mark was leaving, I think there are some procedures that we could agree to put in place that would make things a little less like chaotic in our work. But I'm happy to do it, let's say for a year and then revisit, and maybe I'd be happy to do it longer and maybe not. So that's what I would do.
Sounds very fair.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I agree that it's better to step down as chair or from whatever position rather than just leaving when you're holding a position
Yeah.
that kind of, it just makes it smoother
Mhm.
if you're kind of anticipating that you're going out, although things happen and sometimes you can't
Right.
anticipate.
I mean,
but-
do you feel like you could reach out to, you don't feel like do you feel like you need his support, or do you need to like?
No, I think I need to know from Mark what is expected of the chair that we wouldn't have seen during meetings. I mean, I know that Mark would put out an email at some point in advance of the meeting asking for any agenda items.
Mhm.
I can do that. I just need to know exactly when that needs to be. And if there are any other things that are needed or that are involved that I don't know about.
I think there are, other than what you've seen with this committee, if you do like forums of some sort, you might have to introduce it, but that's far and few between. So, but as far as just getting, ideas together for an agenda, that's basically it. I mean, I was doing it myself, and I was like, what do we talk about? Most, so that's why the meetings were only 45 minutes back whenever. So, but no, it's just really not a whole lot to it.
As long as there wasn't any hidden costs there.
No, no, no. There's no hidden costs.
Oh, yeah, there's 4 meetings a day. No.
No.
Okay.
I agree in the whole like succession planning
Mm.
model.
Oh, yeah.
I
I'm
don't
leaving now, bye.
I actually like, and I'm happy to stay as vice chair for however much time y'all want me to. I do believe that like a vice chair should be like in their mind thinking I'm the next chair, because then they're learning. Like you chair a few meetings when you need to, when the chair's not there, and you learn that process. And then as the person rolls into chair, then the chair becomes like a past chair. They don't have to be labeled that on a website or anything. But then they're there to answer questions, and then the next person moves into vice chair, and then it's just an easier way to make those changes, and it's a nicer way to spread the work out. So
So how long have you been vice chair, Janine?
I don't remember.
How thick that book is?
This is all the notes, and I know that we are the sustainability committee, but I do use recycled paper because I have to have paper for some things in my life.
Yeah.
I think it was when Tony stepped off the committee.
So it wasn't, I mean,
was about a
within,
year?
yeah, within a year.
Well, he was still sitting right there when I started showing up. So that was, I mean, it was less than a year ago that he's
Yeah.
left.
Right. So, like I said, I am happy to stay in this role, but at some point we can maybe have a discussion, maybe in the summer, about,
Right.
unless somebody wants to.
And same with recording as well. I mean, I don't know if,
I'm fine
I-
to stay in
you
the
s-
role unless somebody
yeah.
else is.
right, it's
You're
a,
good at it.
You're very good at
I'm
it.
not.
It actually
I
is
would
very
never do
helpful
that.
for my ADHD.
is it?
Yes.
It's yours forever.
I would have taken.
We're good.
I take the notes anyway because I need to.
Yeah, and you're providing a really great service. It's wonderful.
So I'm happy. I'm happy again. I'm happy to stay. This is. I mean, I have no intention of stepping down anytime soon.
Okay.
But if I did, I would try to give you guys ample heads up. But this is a very easy role to jump into.
Okay,
All right, we're gonna do both then.
you do. So,
Go ahead.
There is one more question that I raised via email, because you talked about, you talked about like the responsibilities of the chair. So what are the responsibilities of committee members? Most of us are new. Kim will be new. I'm otherwise the newest, and then you are second newest.
We're new- it's a
So
new
we
committee.
are
It
all
is- yeah, very-
kind of new. We don't know the rules. Is there something written somewhere?
That's, along with this question, I have the answer.
Oh, you
for
have it.
Joanne, I will ask that question as well. I'm sure there
Ah,
are.
okay.
I mean,
All right. Okay.
it's just, I've never seen them.
Ah, all right.
So I
Thank you.
have two specific questions that came from your bringing that up
Uh-huh.
in the.
So
Yeah.
let's,
Do we
I'm
need to
sorry
close
to,
that?
I think like, because there's a motion on the table.
Oh.
Ah,
For Joanne to be the next chair, and it was motioned and seconded, and we've had discussions. Is there any more discussion about Joanne becoming chair? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, that passes unanimously.
I wish I could read that. I believe I can.
sorry for interrupting the process. I didn't think of it.
I don't, Robert and his rules, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just- I don't know
So
who
do you
he
want-
was.
Pass the gavel?
Do you want to you want to facilitate the rest of the conversation, discussion today, or do you want me to do it?
I don't care. Do you want to? Do you care?
I don't care.
All right, we're done with that part. Okay, so one of the things I would like to do for the next meeting is to talk very specifically about, you know, how we want to conduct ourselves, and if there aren't any, I mean, if there are any things out there that are rules that we should abide by, please send them along, and then let's have a discussion next time about, you know, how do we want to run ourselves, and
That sounds fantastic.
and put that on the next agenda.
So the two questions I had, can I have permission to, is it okay to?
Yeah,
Are we
I just
discussing?
wanted to wrap up the vote.
I'm such a bad.
Well, but if it's on next month's agenda,
But
Do
you
you
can
wanna-
say what the questions are, and then we will
What-
discuss them next time.
Okay, and I don't think they would come up in his search, but, you know, one thing that came up is, you know, I was asked to be on another subcommittee for the town. I don't know that I want to do it. You can't do
You can
that.
only serve on one subcommittee.
Okay,
And I believe you can only serve on one subcommittee, period. I don't think you can serve on the school committee subcommittee and a town council subcommittee.
that's,
I think that came up one time,
okay,
and I was already on this subcommittee.
okay. So sorry, I'd love to, but I can't.
You double check with Mark, he'll know, but I saw that written somewhere when I searched it.
but also if you don't want to, you can just say, sorry, but I can't.
No, I don't know that I don't know that I don't want to. I'm ambivalent, you know.
Okay.
Or you could bomb the interview in front of the town council too. and see what happens.
That'll be fun. That'll make all.
That'll be great. They can see
I'm
me in
sure that would
Belmont
make
go
much of
that
a
one.
difference.
I know, right?
And now it's recorded, so they're gonna know what you're up to. Right.
And your other question?
Well, the other question really has to do with, like, you know, if there's such a thing as a conflict of interest, like, you know, we're talking about composting in schools, and I am invested in setting up composting programs in schools, and, you know, can I suggest that to this committee, or is that not kosher? I don't know. I don't know.
Cool.
Okay.
I've run into the same thing in my brain a lot because of my day
Right,
job.
right.
So
Okay.
that's a
Which
good
makes
thing.
sense. I mean, we're all
In that world.
invested in something we're passionate about. So like you're, yeah,
Mhm.
or knowledgeable about it.
Okay. Let's talk about that next time. So next, discussion on, so I sent around what Gail and I had come up with on potential sites for EV charging stations. It kind of, with the grant due the end of February, I don't think that there's necessarily gonna be an effort to do that in the summer perhaps, but we are gonna send, so I did get some feedback from Mark Kravitz. I'd reached out to him, so he
Cool.
did send me a couple of articles. I think I will just send that along to Luke, along with whatever we come up with, whatever edits we want to make to the list that Gail and I put together. And I'll do that. I'll do that tonight, because I'm leaving tomorrow for a week. So, I'll do that.
I'm so excited for Joanne.
Oh, stop it. Okay, so, so does everybody have, you probably don't, but, so that's the list that,
Right.
that Gail and I came up with. It is a lot of stuff, but, the ones that I
Wow, that
bolded
is
and
great.
italicized were the ones that and I'll just put those at the top of the list.
Mhm.
And if there's any questions about, so our number 2 there, the trying to restore the use of the existing chargers at Town Hall? I think that's
Oh, that's me,
Kim.
but, so.
Oh,
Have to wait.
oh,
I'll just
Um,
take a photo of it.
So is that something that is on the table, that, to have those available for people? The town ones?
It's so the rec center,
No, the
Which
ones
one?
that are here at Town Hall.
oh, over here?
Yeah. Because they're here, they should be used, but, and they are used
Right.
during the day by staff, right?
Just on the one staff car that we have that's electric,
Oh,
but the other ones, we have them shut off because people were pulling up and
And there's no
plugging in overnight.
charge.
We
Yeah,
actually did that when we first got our electric.
oh,
We didn't know, because there
Mhm.
were, there was no
Yeah.
place to charge except for East Matunic, so.
oh,
We couldn't figure it out, though.
did you charge out here? Out in the
Yeah.
back
Well,
here?
we tried to, but it didn't work out.
Oh,
So is there a way to make
Luckily-
that functional for people that wanted to charge if they were here for a meeting for a few hours and charge and pay for it?
well, these are called, I hate the term, but it's a dumb charging unit. It's, all it is just, you just plug it in. It can't charge you dollars
Gotcha,
or
gotcha.
cents.
They'd have to be
And you
completely
can't turn
replaced,
it,
is
you
what you're
can't turn
saying.
it off
Okay, well then
after
we'll,
hours or
Right.
something like that.
then we'll ditch that and pretend that's not there. Although, you know, having some at Town Hall,
Mm-hmm.
although people are generally, except for staff, people are here for not
15
very
minutes.
long, so maybe that isn't as important. And it'd be nice to shorten the list a little bit.
I would think that the rec center, I'm looking at the senior center, but I'm trying to think of how many cars I pull up there that are electric. It's, I hate to say it, but it's the age of the people, and they're in gas vehicles. I mean, right? So we have to look at it.
It's a much smaller lot than the rec
It
center.
is, yeah.
So maybe we'll just change that to rec
Just the
center.
rec center is a good one, because
And-
people are there for hours on
Yeah.
end.
And the Peaceville
Pickleball.
Public Lot is
Yeah.
the one next door to Taste Right and where Sweet Cakes used to be.
Mhm.
That's a town lot.
It
Yes.
is not, actually.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
It's not. a
We
town
just plow it and maintain it, but we don't, the town doesn't own it.
lot.
Sorry.
Okay.
I found that out. Yeah,
It's also
Well, then I'll take
not
that off the
not that
list.
big.
no, it's not that big.
I mean,
No,
I
it
think-
isn't really that big.
I
It
think
just-
giving 3 options, like 2 public, 1 private,
Mhm.
would be a really nice short list. So
Right.
maybe
Well, that comes off anyway. I mean, one of the articles that Mark sent along was, you know, what is the town trying to accomplish with this? And if it's trying to raise more awareness around people that the town wants to encourage
Mm-hmm.
people to have electric cars and having them in places that are town facilities helps to do that. And so, then, you know, the Guild is a good place, the rec center is a good place. Here at Town Hall, if this lot is big enough, although it isn't as wouldn't be used as much. I think maybe Marina Park and Old Mountain Field could come off. Peacedale School, there are enough people. It'd be nice to have something in the Peacedale area, since
Yeah.
that lot isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, I mean,
isn't the neighborhood
The
guild
guild is, yeah, I think.
close enough?
that's true.
I mean,
That's true.
If we're limiting it, I was thinking, yeah, so.
Okay.
but
So
all
the
these others are
Guild, the
private,
rec
so-
center.
How is it with the space at the Guild? Is it sometimes the parking lot full
In the
or
front.
not?
But not usually in the back. I
Yeah.
think, I didn't, here I specified the rear lot or the tennis court area, and that one of those would be better than in the actual Guild lot. Like the back of the Guild, you know, there's just a little stairway. It's no big deal to park in the back versus the front. And that would be nice.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the other, having something near Saugatucket Park and also more near Main Street, the, what's the deal with the lot behind Main Street that is the town-owned?
So the one behind the furniture place.
Yeah.
So
Did Luke say there was some kind of construction or revitalization going
Aren't they
on?
gonna build a
Yeah.
boutique hotel at the Sheldons?
Seriously?
That's what I
For
heard,
real?
yeah.
For real?
Yeah, that's what I heard last week
That thing's like
at the store.
Is Sheldon ready to let it go?
Apparently, but I hope I'm not
this town
gossiping. But
Sorry.
someone came into I work at the South Coast Bulk store. And a customer came in, and I wish I could remember who it was, but she told me that,
Phil's-
I know,
Phil's closing?
the guys that own the Muse
No?
bought, have you
Oh.
heard anything about this?
No,
No?
So they're gonna, so there might be
Rumors.
major renovations to that parking
Yeah,
lot then.
yeah,
They also are gonna do, didn't part of the EPA grant or the COVID fund grant?
ARPA, yeah,
They're gonna do.
redo the walkway
redo
and,
the walkway, like that buffer area is gonna get redone to try to
Across
hopefully
the
reduce
water?
some of the, like water runoff that like comes down from Main Street and like straight into the Saugatuck River.
the water quality structures they're gonna put in there, yeah.
So I think that one has some upcoming renovations.
Okay, so the public lot behind Main Street isn't viable at the moment, maybe later. What about a piece of the Wakefield School lot? Is that really not?
Well, I think that nobody knows what's going on with that right now. So if we were to propose that, I'm sure it would be, say, you know, why don't we wait until we see if it's gonna be more park, or if it's gonna be affordable housing, or what. But
So does the town own any land near, other than the school land?
in Saugatuck Park,
Yeah, like Ortho Rhode Island there, where they used to be.
Mm-mm.
That's private.
That's all private, yeah.
And did Curtis Corner make it on this list, or why did we decide? We
That's
didn't
going
get
through
it
major-
just because it
major
would be
renovations,
Like
too.
major.
And it would be just seasonal. I mean, that's why the beach didn't make the list, because it was just seasonal. And we thought that to have them really be worthwhile, it would make sense to have, you know, year-round usefulness.
I'm wondering because of the tight turnaround, I'm sure you guys have thought of this, but whether kind of saying to Luke, like, this is future stuff, or if you guys really think you can get it through in time, these are our, like, maybe 2 publicly owned areas that
Mhm.
we've, like, identified, and
Mhm.
for these reasons. But maybe because a private entity wouldn't have to go through, you know, getting the town council approval and all that, maybe it, you know, maybe the next move is to make some of these private entities that you've identified aware of this,
Mhm.
and see if you can, and kind of maybe give some, you know, give them some background, give them maybe some articles at Mark Center, whatever, that are like, this is how it could benefit your business.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I thought this grant funding though had to go to a town or,
You
no?
can go private
Private,
too.
yeah.
So you can do a private entity. So the one thing I noticed that you didn't put on the private entity thing was the, I'm sure you have a reason, was the couple of bigger hotels in the area. I just, like, it really stuck with me how Luke was saying that that's like the ability to charge his car is a determining factor in where he rents a hotel. And for us,
You said
the-
that as well, yeah.
and I said for
Yeah,
the
it's
for
true.
the ability to charge our car determines which car we take on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like there's some from both ends. Sustainably, it's great because it gets people to take their electric car and makes it easy for them. Plus, they can charge overnight, so it's like a no-brainer, right? And from the private end of things, it's faster because they just have to say, okay, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can get this. And there's benefit to them if they can pull in, you know, that segment of the population. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So there's a
There's
big
a
one in the Commons,
Hampton,
Hampton, and then there's the one right on Route 1, the newer one.
Fair.
Fairfield.
And
What
you feel like
else?
they must have the
Washington Trust.
Oh, Holiday Inn. Is that still in South Kingstown?
Oh, it is, yes.
Okay.
Are these are fast chargers?
No, they're
They're
level
level
2.
two.
Level 2.
I don't know how does like a electric vehicle that isn't a Tesla at a level 2. Luke was talking about like talking about charging for like 20 minutes, but
Yeah,
to
the
me,
fast chargers.
that's only a fast charger will get me anything in 20 minutes. Like
Yeah.
my level 2, I have to charge all night.
Yeah.
Like I have a home level 2.
I have a home level 2. It doesn't take all night, but it takes a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Oh,
like a
mine
few
takes a
hours
lot
kind of
to-
situation. Okay.
Yeah, that's why your list was really good because it's like, where do people park where they're going to be
Several
for a few
hours. Okay,
hours
all right.
and, you know, other places.
Okay.
Well, also South County Commons, I don't even know who owns that. I mean, I don't know who owns any of these places really, but I mean, one of the things we could do if we wanted to, either if we wanted to continue or if various of us want to like contact some of these places. Although I don't know if Luke would want to do it himself or if he has somebody who would want to do it, but that could be something we could do. We can offer that. And then I don't remember which of us added the state land that's already in South Kingstown that would be good to have some chargers like at the DMV, not so much for the DMV, but for that building. What is it? CRMC is there and the courthouse, but that's all state land. But if the state was going to put in more, you know, put some of them down here. And the park and ride, the north lot's always full, but the south lot isn't so much. And people could, you know, commute from there. I think that one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, although I will say just one data point. When I'm meeting people at that park and ride, then we always drive in the electric
In the
vehicle.
electric car, that's what I was gonna say.
The
you always
gas
drive the
vehicle
electric-
gets left behind, and the electric vehicle does the commuting. But
Because you're commuting.
yeah, like
Right.
if we're meeting up, it's like who's got the more efficient car?
But do more people meet up there or do more people take the bus?
I think more people meet up there in my
Yeah.
my
Met up there.
pull
I
from the.
assumed that it was like from the bus, just because I knew people that used to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't
my
even know
In an
where-
ideal world,
where's the
both
parking lot
parties
in
are
SK?
driving
At the
an electric
tower.
vehicle.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
but
not
the
happening.
charging
Pretty
is
rare.
right.
Yeah.
But where is the south parking lot? I only
Well,
know
there's
of
just
one.
One
across
right
the
on,
street?
yeah, just across the street.
One underneath Hannah Robinson Tower and then right across.
Just
the street.
across the street.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
not
you
across
think-
Route 1, across.
Right.
Bridgetown.
Yeah,
right.
What is it
And you
called
think
over there?
there is enough space that it wouldn't be like blocked by parking
Yeah,
cars?
I've never had a problem finding
okay.
multiple spaces.
Excellent.
Yeah, especially on the other side of the road. Okay, anything else?
Can I just ask a question about proximity of where they're gonna put in all the wiring or whatever? Does it have to be a certain distance from, I don't know.
I think
like-
so, and I think,
Yeah.
and I don't know anything about that, so
Yeah.
they'd have to call.
Do a site
do this.
survey.
I assume that the rec center, because it's so new,
Mhm.
would have adequate juice there. The guild, maybe not so much, I don't know.
Not yet. It's coming, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have it yet.
Okay. I mean, is it worth playing with, well, I mean, if we just wanted to put in a couple of suggestions, I'll keep everything that's on the list in there except the ones that were like wrong, like Peacedale having a public lot, and just put them at the bottom, say other things we thought about, just so he sees what they were.
And then maybe just ask like how we can, as a committee, like how we can support it moving forward. Is he going to take it from here? Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay,
I prefer the latter one.
Mm.
What did he do it?
so
We're
should I
supposed to
send,
advise, not
so when I
do, right,
fix
Mark?
this up and attach the articles for Mark, should I send it to you? Or
Mhm.
to Luke? To you, and then you'll send it to Luke?
Yeah, I'll
And-
hand deliver it.
And
to
I'll,
them.
and I'll copy everybody.
So I don't know if this answers your question, because I don't have an electric vehicle, but it says each proposed location must have a minimum of 4 ports, using any combination of level 2 and/or DCFC. I don't know what that means.
Is that like the
That's-
basic?
DC fast charge,
Yeah.
Fast
Okay.
charger.
Okay.
battery dash. Yeah.
So 4 ports.
4 ports using any combination of level 2 and/or fast chargers.
So it has to be at least 4 spots, 4 parking spots.
Right. And the other thing that, maybe, I don't know who, but there's a Q&A tomorrow afternoon that I'm gonna try to listen
Oh,
in just to pretend I understand what they're saying. Share it.
Oh, with this program,
Yeah.
the grant program?
Well, maybe then hold off. Oh, no, you're going away. Or pass it to Gail, and then if there's anything that you're like, I learned this, and maybe we should, I don't know. Or we just pass it to Luke and you can attach.
Would you-
I'm
I mean,
going to stop
I
talking.
can change this, send it to you, you can add whatever you get tomorrow, and at tomorrow send it. Okay, so I'll just send to you.
And I'm happy to brainstorm with you if you're, if you learn something and you're like, but I don't really know
But I
how that
don't understand what
applies,
I'm
just
saying.
reach out and we can have a chat.
Okay. Cool. Update on new high school building project.
That state-owned facility thing, see, it was just that at the beaches and stuff, the state-owned properties, the price is gonna go up. Right.
Went
We
from
all
0
understand.
to, I forget what it was change, but wasn't big.
Yeah.
But
Did that include,
Oh,
I'm just thinking
sorry.
of Luke's other request of us, related to employee charging here. Did that include, he was saying at the state house, state employees get to charge? Does that policy includes them?
Yes.
Okay, so it's
Yes.
the general public at the beaches as well as state employees.
Right, so that's when we were just discussing it when you guys came in, was that you might be able to take that policy from the state and just implement it here,
Yeah.
follow that. I mean, you can't go wrong, right? So I would suggest that to them.
But there's no way here, because we have dumb chargers currently, there's no way to know how much juice any given employee takes.
Right, that's, I don't know, we'd have to find a way of putting a meter on it. I don't,
Sounds like we need new chargers here
Yeah.
if it's gonna be, if we're gonna
I wonder
charge
if there's a way
employees.
to upgrade them though, like.
Makes sense.
yeah, I mean, or he might have to average it out when he goes to a place, and what does he pay, to do 4 hours worth of charging,
Right.
right? And then come here and say, it's cost me 4 hours over here, if I do 10 cents a kilowatt hour, as example, I can't believe 40 cents is gonna kill him, but,
I don't know how many times he charges his car.
He
No.
needs a raise.
yeah.
40 cent raise.
Yes, good job.
Sorry, I missed that one.
So the high school building project is also to do with EV?
No,
No,
this-
no.
Another, next
Okay.
item.
So I went to the last meeting. I'll go from there and then
Yeah.
you do,
So
you better.
for your information, Janine and Elizabeth have been tag teaming the high school building committee meetings
Mm-hmm.
to try to promote sustainable approaches to building that thing.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
trying. Feel a little bit like I repeat myself, but so the last meeting I went to was a couple of weeks ago. The meeting last week was postponed to this week, but basically the school building committee is advising not to go ahead with geothermal for a number of reasons. There's debate about whether or not that reasoning is if it's, I hate to say this, I don't know how to say it, if it is informed enough. However, the school building committee feels like we have hired experts and the experts are trustworthy, and so the recommendation from the architects and the project managers was that the cost of geothermal would not be recuperated in 20 years in such a way, because it's so much more expensive to put geothermal in, that if they do different units in the new high school with like ground, is it air or ground?
Air.
Air
So
source.
now we're doing
Source.
now they're going air source heat pumps
Mhm.
and chillers.
And chillers. So that those are less expensive, they're less efficient, but it comes out to be, according to the numbers and everything they've crunched, that the geothermal would cost more over 20 years. That, as we keep saying, Elizabeth and I, to them, that doesn't take into account the reimbursements that we can get from the federal government through the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. I think everyone's feeling really nervous about the Inflation Reduction Act because of the change of federal administration. Elizabeth and I feel very confident that as long as they had shovels in the ground before January of 2026, they would get reimbursed, because you can't change tax code that quickly. We have both said that to them. However, they chose not to do geothermal. What was nice at this last meeting I went to is that both Luke and Kate Mancinanti, who's the chair of that school building committee, and several other members said, well, just because we're not going for the IRA funds for geothermal doesn't mean maybe we can't go for them for something else, because along the way they might be able to put in other sustainability features. Not all of them are going to be eligible for that reimbursement.
Because they're too late at that point? Is that-
No, because some sustainability features are not covered under that IRA funding. Like they're not reimbursable. So like EV chargers are, solar panels are, geothermal is. And there's a couple other ones that didn't really apply to
Electric
us,
school buses.
which doesn't count for us because we hire a company to do it. We don't own our own school buses in this district.
Although it is notable that any money you spend on EV chargers as a municipality is still eligible for IRA funding reimbursement.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind when you're. So that 20% that they do, even that 20% then is eligible for another 30%, around about 30%
Right.
reimbursement.
Say that one more time?
So the IRA funding isn't just for schools; it's for like all municipal stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
any EV charger that's put in, so like some of it's EPA, but you can double dip, and you can also get IRA
Right.
reimbursement. But the town's not going to like bank on that, but it is potentially there that you could. Be
Can I just,
eligible.
and you, I mean, not, it's moot, it doesn't matter, but if the IRA reimbursement were factored in,
Oh, it's by millions.
it's a huge savings.
Oh, yeah.
you're saying.
It's
By
Okay.
millions.
Okay.
By
Yeah.
like 3 million, plus the fact that the air chiller heat pumps that they're using, so they're roof mounted. As far as I can tell, did I tell you this? There was an APRA request put in, so I've seen all of their data behind the scenes. They did not include any of like the you have to have like a different roof structure for that. So I don't know if that's like that the way they're building it maybe is just at that level, so it's fine, or whether it's
Can be extra.
didn't get included in the cost. I don't know that. But the average air chiller heat pump, like all the industry stuff, says it's a 15 to 20 year life expectancy of like the actual equipment versus the ground
Geothermal.
source heat pump, the geothermal, is all interior or underground. There's nothing exposed to the elements. So the interior components have like a 25 plus year life expectancy, and then the ground stuff, based on the plastics, is the first thing apparently to like erode or whatever. Of the ground source stuff is a 50-year life expectancy. So they did annual maintenance costs was part of that 20-year life cycle cost, but they did not include the fact that somewhere between year 50 and 20 or year 21, all of a sudden you now need a new
right.
HVAC.
And they brought that up at the last meeting I went to, and their answer to that, meaning the
Engineers, right?
engineers and the contractors, were saying, in 20 years you're going to have to replace a lot of stuff. That's not how we built. They didn't say it exactly this way, but how I heard it, because I don't want to like quote them. I'm paraphrasing. Is that you don't budget a build based on entirely on 20 years from now, because in the next 20 years you're going to have to be replacing a lot of things.
Right.
So
But theoretically, the geothermal would still be pumping along, according to like what the
Right.
industry standard is right
Right.
now. So like it would have, but
and the other thing is that they allowed for public comments after that part of the agenda, and I usually try to run up there and be the first one. And everyone has a right to stand up from the community and talk. There was a particularly like kind of confrontational public comment before mine, so I went really easy, and I was like, we've sent this to you, like Elizabeth sent them information, meaning the school building committee, and I was like, I just urge you to take, as many sustainability features as you can, like make sure that they happen. This is related to like health and everything. So, I feel that we've been showing up. They know that we're watching, and in a good way. And I think we've said a lot of things in there that help them think differently. I was very happy to hear like half of them say, we're not gonna, just because we pivot away from geothermal doesn't mean we pivot away from all sustainability features.
Good.
So hopefully they'll do something.
they did have, and then they, again, after that meeting, they then went in front of the town council, because it's complicated, but the town council holds the purse strings. So the town council needs to do the final, like, okay, go ahead, like anything like financial.
Yeah.
And so the big issue was that there was this like budget shortfall of like $2.5 million.
Or the design was
Yeah, the
more
design.
expensive than
Like-
the budget, which is usual. Like that's not like
Right.
they're like, let's build for everyone, like
You
take
have to cut,
everyone's
yeah.
ideas into account, and then they're like, oops, that's too expensive. Now we got to cut back.
Yeah. So one of the things at that meeting in front of the town council was that I thought was like really stuck with me was that they had like their kind of guiding principles from the beginning, and one of their guiding principles from the beginning was like ideally it should be a sustainable school. Can we, full electrification, yes, but can we get towards like a net zero kind of school? So they did continue to say that that is a goal. Another comment that was made by a member of the school building committee was that just because we don't,
You mean
Aren't-
at the town council?
um,
Another comment that was made at the school building.
at the school building committee meeting.
Oh,
One of
okay,
the school
sorry.
building committee meetings was not to, actually this might have been an email, was just because it's been taken off, like it's not off the table forever. Because like HVAC systems and everything changes, technology changes. So there are things like building envelope stuff that you can't go back and not fix, but like change down the road. But an HVAC system's not forever. So in the future, could you do that? Because it goes under a parking lot is how the wells are drilled.
So I thought I heard them say that one well that they did drill
They're gonna
is
use
going
it
to use it in
for the
part of the building. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll
They're
be like
for the-
educational.
what?
It'll be educational.
For the
but
construction CTE
Yeah.
Oh.
thing, so that it both has an educational thing and to heat and cool that one
Right.
room or whatever. I don't know what it is. It's probably bigger than a room, but whatever that.
I thought it was only a demonstration. I did not think it was actually going to heat and cool that room.
I heard it was going to heat and cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
heard that it was actually going to be useful.
I trust you
for just
two
that one
more.
little chunk
Free.
of.
Whatever chunk we can get heated and cooled.
Because they said it's right, it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's happened or it was by design, but it's in close proximity to where
Right.
the well is. So it's or to where the system would be. So.
But there were also some things like that were not from a sustainability standpoint. Well, essentially, but there were other things that the design team came up with to meet, to cut the budget down to what we have, and some of them were just like no, they were what's the expression when something's completely off the table, like
Non-starter.
thank you. Like, for example, one of the ways the design team was thinking that they could, come down to the budget was by decreasing the number of seats in the theater space. And don't worry.
No.
They were like non-starter, absolutely not. We want every single student to be able to sit in our auditorium. We're thinking about creating a theater CTE, and this is something like, do you guys know, like the South King Sound Theater program and music program, they were fantastic. So this is a strength we have for the whole community, not just the school. So, I do appreciate that there were some things that they were like, absolutely not. That's like, we're not taking that off the table. And I have to say that they seem pretty good about, we'll do other things, but not, and that was just one example. But
How
So
big is the auditorium going to be?
it's going to be 800 something seats.
Really?
I think 759 is in my head.
Okay. I always defer details
I have-
to other
I
people.
don't know, it's in my brain.
Okay.
But it was
800.
they maxed out the number that RIDE would allow because RIDE will only allow X number, and usually RIDE will only allow the same number as students that are in the building. But RIDE actually allowed for reimbursement for South Kingstown, and this is apparently unusual. I think a 10% for potential for an additional 10% of students for us to flex up by that many more students. So it was they did every single seat that they could.
I wonder if that's partially because of the theater CTE in process of being
I
approved.
don't know.
So yeah, and then they were like, well, we'll take care, we'll take some windows off, and maybe that'll help with the cooling and heating of that area, but we'll still have this big bank of windows in the back of the building. And then maybe I'm repeating myself, but somebody brought up having bird safe glass, and a couple of people snickered. I got up and was like, okay, first of all, birds are an important part of the ecosystem, but also bird safe glass is more energy efficient. And a couple of school building committee members were like, I got really excited. So, anyway, I think it still is, like, I intend to keep going, like, when we can, without killing ourselves, we'll keep going and reporting, but that's the latest.
How about solar? Have they discussed?
So, all new school buildings have to be built with the right, like, roofing, supports and structure, that can allow for solar in the future, because right now it's not being discussed or in the design. And also an internal space, for the, like, you know, the everything that's inside the building for that. With the, and I think it's very forward thinking of the school building authority at Rye, because they're like, eventually these are all gonna be solar powered. So you have to build now for that, so you don't have to retrofit.
So why is it not even
Yeah.
on the table?
Money.
Because of the
Really?
cost. Yeah.
But there's also, so there's this pretty significant contingency fund that is,
Yep.
that they have to pad, like, you know, so in case something goes over. So something they thought was gonna be like $1,000 comes out to $1,200. So there's this like contingency fund that they have to hold, I think, until like the very end.
Yep.
Like, so I'm wondering now, like, geothermal got taken off the table. Maybe towards the end, if there's any money left over, we can be there
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, you took away our geothermal. Would it be possible?"
Yeah.
Because
Use
we're
that
already
money and do
we're already ready to go. Like
Because
they've
it
already
would-
built it,
yeah.
so it could be an add-on at the end.
It would really just be the panels and the internal, like, converter or whatever the heck it's called.
Switching gear, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So-
and then it would be the electric that then service the air chiller. So I'm not giving up hope. Like,
No.
I'm hopeful that maybe that contingency
Never
that
give up hope.
they have to keep
Never surrender.
can be used at the other end. But there's never any money left over at the end.
So there was a gentleman that he's called me twice named Donald Smith. I don't know if you guys know him.
That sounds
Is he telling you about like
Styrofoam walls
yeah.
and
we
concrete.
met him?
Okay. Yeah, he wants to come and present to the committee.
So is he talking about like reusing styrofoam as
No. Just these are styrofoam foundation walls filled with concrete to build the new school with.
I
So
think it's the
he-
whole wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
You
all the way up,
build
the whole
build the
thing.
entire building out of
Yeah.
styrofoam.
Oh, yeah. Structural.
It's the whole envelope
Yeah.
of the building. So
Kind of interesting.
his brother owns a company that does this.
Mhm.
So, you know, I think it's always important to know, like, when somebody is gonna be served by that. And he has spoken about it with, like, very well and with good detail. And it is something definitely that the school building committee should consider. I don't need to, like, personally, I'm sold on it. It's a great idea, but, you know,
I don't think the architects are. I mean, they're at that point now where
I think it's
they're
almost
almost done. Yeah. They're not going to start
you have to
over.
have started that
Right.
from like
Way back.
years ago.
What's the material then? Just concrete?
It's concrete, but it's insulated with styrofoam. I think it's like, is it concrete, styrofoam, concrete, like a sandwich? I think is what it was.
yes, because it uses far less concrete. So that alone is an environmental sustainability feature, right? Because concrete's so awful in terms of how it's produced. It uses far less concrete, but it insulates either just as or better.
Its R value is really high.
Yes.
But there's a large cost.
It was expensive, and then the other downside that I saw was that our big thing. I mean, for the foundation, sure, but like one of the drawbacks that I remember them always talking about with the current high school was the way it was built, like all out of like concrete blocks, and therefore you couldn't go back and change it very easily.
Oh, like if they use that.
Material. I don't know. I don't know very much about. I don't know enough about it. It seemed though like it needed to be like a
It needed to
decision
be-
made before you
Yeah, it
design
needed
the
to
building.
be. Hi there. It needed to be before the design because of yes. Yep.
It's super interesting though. He did say now in like the tornado alley or whatever. He was saying like in Kansas, this is like now their like standard. This is what they build all their schools out of. I did not fact check that, but I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That like structurally, I guess it's very safe. He has spoken very well, so they are
Yeah,
aware of it.
They are aware.
Okay. So He was gonna come in tonight, if this was a Monday night meeting, he would come in, but he's leading the North Kingstown Orchestra or something, so he couldn't make it tonight.
Nice guy.
So then I said, well, okay, how about February meeting? But that's gonna be, it's a Tuesday as well, so maybe
Oh, that's
March. He said, well, that's probably way too far into the process, so,
I mean, well, I don't
Is
know.
this Don Smith who used to teach music at the middle
Yes.
school?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, no,
I remember Mr.
no need
Smith.
to,
no?
no.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I mean,
Good
it's
night.
it's too late in the process, and yeah,
Yeah.
the school committee is those are the people to talk to. You guys already know about it. We're good. Okay.
He spoke very well in favor
That's
of
what
it.
I was gonna say.
Yes,
Oh,
he does speak. Can speak.
Okay, but next month, I think we've been asked to host Alicia from Salt Ponds Coalition.
Oh,
Yes.
great, good.
So I don't know if would I reach out to her to invite her to the next meeting? Or?
She's been invited. Mark,
she
at
has
the,
been?
after
Okay.
the December meeting, Mark DeMorinville
Yep.
reached out to her and asked if she could move it from January to February, and she said yes, no problem.
Okay.
So, and you were on that. I think you were on
Yeah.
that email too. So,
Yes.
Okay, so she knows
so she knows.
next month. Okay.
So next month's meeting is not on the 17th?
Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there, okay.
Okay. So new member search. I'm not sure that. Do we know Kim is in the process?
Yes, I have my interview next Monday night at the town council.
Yes, several people do, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
not
there-
for this committee, but for several.
I'm like, wait, we only have one more spot after Kim.
Right.
So, do we know anything more about Paul, who sat in for a while but hasn't been here the last few
I
months?
asked the town clerk, and she doesn't have an application
Okay, so
from
we need
him.
one more person.
Mm.
I mean, do we want to think about like just post? I mean, I don't know, but would it be crazy to just post something or just say, don't
Well, it's
do something?
posted in every council agenda. It shows sustainability committee how many vacancies there are.
I mean, like, in
we
our-
can't
ours,
advertise,
you
you know,
can't
and-
put it on a Facebook page or.
You can as an individual.
I don't know if we even want to do that.
I
'cause
don't
you,
think
'cause you open it
Facebook is where I would go.
But I can't imagine that there aren't a handful plus people that would be interested, but they just don't know that.
Yeah.
it's
I wouldn't have
possible.
known unless Christine.
Good job.
Thanks, Christine.
Kim, when did you say? Is it next week you
Next
have a?
Monday.
Yes, at next Monday night's town council meeting. Is there can I ask? about
Yeah.
What the interview entails or anything?
They ask you
Basic
for like
stuff.
your background and your
Why
why
you're
you want to
interested.
be part of it. I guess I think we all kind of like spoke about our work in some way, whether that's volunteer or paid work that relates to this and like the expertise we bring. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And any conflicts, they ask if you have any
Felonies against men.
No,
no, like more like I don't know. Maybe if I don't know.
Unpaid.
Maybe if your husband was a geothermal guy and he's like in front of
Like
the
Don Smith probably should
Right.
have applied.
conflicts of interest, yeah.
yeah, like a conflict like that.
Oh,
sort of
wow,
stuff.
my daughter's
It's
in the
very
solar
easy.
industry, does that?
No?
No,
Okay.
as long as she's not trying to get like
Yeah.
put solar panels on top of the.
They don't even do business in
Yeah.
Rhode Island
Yeah,
anyway.
so
Oh,
that-
there you go. Yeah, so
So
the council
it's very-
president will
it's
ask
very
you,
light.
just to say,
Yeah.
who you are, what are you here for, what do you like, and then if there's any questions, they'll ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was last, most recent, and they just asked one question at the beginning: why do you think you want to join the sustainability committee? So I just told them why, and then I said, "Do you have any questions?" And I think there might have been one question, but I expected they would ask certain things. And give me a structure what to say, like what's your experience or what are your interests or, but it was not like that. They just
It's an
wanted me to
open-ended
talk.
question.
Yeah.
They didn't have much time either. So they, they just wanted me to talk, get it over with, and, and then, I think one person asked a question, and I cannot remember what it was, but it was not a difficult question.
Okay.
I think yours went on for like 15
Mine
minutes,
was,
didn't it?
well, so there's a lot of interest. I mean, it was like Patty and
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Deb
Deb Bergner
Bergner,
loves composting.
and they were all over the school. I mean, there was there's like, you know, why do they do this and why do they serve kids whole apples when they can't eat them and they don't have any teeth? And you know, it was they were very
interested.
They were very
Yeah.
engaged. Yeah, it was great. It was fun, but it wasn't. It was
Pretend like
nothing-
they're not grilling
It was
you,
nothing
though.
stressful. No.
And you were like probably were you well whatever. I think it's also timing in terms of like are there new council members that like are just learning about the sustainability committee? Are they passionate about it? Whatever. So yeah, don't be nervous. Just
No,
be
no.
yourself. You've been vetted. Christine asked you, and we all know you. So
So we still have one spot, so if
Yes.
anybody knows of anyone.
So okay, so here's. Do you guys know Brian Maynard?
oh yeah, I know that name.
I think we should ask him.
What is
Go
he?
ahead.
Does he
I know
retire
that
too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did retire. Yeah.
I'm just.
But you might have
from-
time now.
He taught. He was
at
an
URI.
horticulture professor at URI.
That's how I know.
It would be
Thinking
nice
about
to have
his
gender
stuff.
diversity.
Yeah, right.
I know. It
that's
used to be
great.
the opposite.
Hi there.
Hey, so you're not here for us.
Do you think you could ask?
I'll ask him. I
That would
I
be
have no
great.
idea if he has any interest, but you know, he did retire and
Yeah.
Right.
he knows
Yeah.
stuff.
And he's an SK resident.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
important.
actually no, because right, there are people that
Work at URI but don't live in SK.
Right.
And now he might have the time, you know.
right.
Right. I was also thinking of Pam Rubinoff. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, Pam.
Damn.
Saved the bag.
No, Coastal Resources Center.
She just
She
retired.
just retired.
Oh, she did?
Don't
So-
ask her yet.
I
I think she's in Hawaii right
Let her
now.
catch your
Seriously?
breath.
Yeah.
Oh, she's on vacation.
Because I asked her what she's doing with her time, and she said, "I'm going to Hawaii, and then I'll figure it out." So I feel like just maybe give
She
her
needs a
month.
break. She needs a break.
Yeah.
She had a pretty intense job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one or the other. Well. Okay.
She might
One thing we
post
didn't
that.
have on the calendar, but I think we should revisit is Christine's article and that you put together and what happens with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was another question you had for me, right? Did write that down somewhere.
so it seemed to me the best place would be like an op-ed in the local paper. You know, not a letter to the editor because it's too much for that. It's too long for that, and not really an article because it isn't really. Yeah, it would be kind of.
But my question is it from the entire sustainability committee or just from Christine?
I'm happy to sign on as part of it.
Okay. You can sign your individual names to it. I'll find that out if we're able to do
Yeah.
that.
Do we need any permission to?
Well, that's what I'm gonna find out, if you can just sign it from the South Kingstown Sustainability Committee, or it could just list everybody's name who,
And Mark did. Well, we could ask him if he wanted to be included in that because he was involved with the.
Yeah, he helped
And
with,
he helped with
right,
it,
yeah.
So yeah, just so that we don't forget that, we should figure that out. It'd be nice to, if we could do it before the next meeting, if it's easy to just go ahead and
Yep.
submit, that would be great.
Are we doing the two local papers?
Yeah.
So that raises, there are two more questions. In the past, well, that's decades-old information, but I've heard, and I don't know whether it's accurate, that it's not advisable to send something to both local newspapers at the same time. That they don't appreciate that.
Oh.
They want to be
Special.
the only.
the scoop, yeah.
Yeah, is that correct information?
And I think that both of them are owned by the same company, so.
Now, oh really?
Mm.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I mean, for work, when I've sent out op-eds from RIA,
Mhm.
I send it to everyone, and whoever picks it up,
Okay,
picks it up.
all right.
That's what I mean, just from a nonprofit standpoint, I thought that's
Mhm.
how you do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, it's a press release of kinds, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other question is, at the end of the article, there is we want to put a link to town's resources about, like, information about the town's water management.
Mm.
Could you help us with that? Like,
Just give Mark's email. Just kidding.
Yeah.
well, that's another possibility, but
Or do you want to link it to the presentation that was done?
yes, but it's not on the website, on the town's website.
Which was going to be though, wasn't
It was supposed to, but I don't think it is.
Slides up on the website.
It's not on the sustainability page? Oh.
I didn't see it, but it has been a while that I checked it, but it was not there.
I'm getting tired. I'm sorry. A lot of football this weekend.
I'm tired too.
What, you were working because of the ice coming? And,
Snow and,
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was 10 o'clock at night. I look outside, it's pouring rain. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to bed. And about 15 minutes later, the phone rings and
Oh,
it's a
no.
town. They're like, you coming to work? I'm like, why? It's pouring. They're like, well, did you look outside lately? So I looked outside and it was like this much snow. I was like, where the hell did this come from? So,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very
It
quick.
was a long
Thank you.
weekend. Yeah.
So do we have
Okay.
anything more than like this page? If you go to the sustainability committee, it's got all of our names. It's got Mark. It's got your
Contact info.
your
'cause
contact
you're-
info
What's
and
up
our
with
calendar. But is that all we have? I mean, it's just under boards and commissions to sustainability.
keep going down. Oh, that goes to the aggregation
Aggregation.
program.
Like it seems like it should be there, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Is this, what does that say? Oh,
Agendas and minutes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can post it there.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
So-
4. Who's missing?
Vacant.
6, 7. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They've
Sorry.
already taken.
I didn't see me.
Mark off was
Yeah.
really fast.
Well, once they get,
it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Long.
It's not like
Okay.
But yeah, there's not. Yeah, it's not listed as far as I can tell.
Okay, so, so can,
Could someone resend that to me, the presentation or the,
I have,
yeah,
I sent it to you.
I can probably do it right now.
and then you could just put in the town's sustainability committee.
Right, once it's up,
Yeah.
we can just provide the link.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, I feel like I'm a broken
have-
record, but is there a way to share it on the internet? I mean, I'm just like, for people who don't read papers, is there a way to share it electronically? Do we?
Oh, well, I can ask that question too, just
Patch.
put it in the,
I don't know if I like the patch, but
yeah.
it's kind of a sensationalist little
Yeah, it is.
internet paper.
Oops.
Aren't they all?
You can always take it if it gets published. Then you can always, as a private person,
Just link it.
link to it and share it. But yeah,
Okay.
We're an advisory committee, so we can't.
we can't ourselves, but we can
Individually.
individuals
do
are
it.
still.
We can do it.
We can't
we can
post
do
it on the town's
Mm.
Facebook or
So-
social media.
I mean, that's part of that question as well. Is like, are there limits on what we can do
Right.
as
The rules.
individuals,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
I hope
I
not.
think that's a yes.
I'm getting
Too late.
Okay.
activist 2.0. Janine is coming out now.
So next
Okay.
meeting,
The next meeting, so I'm supposed to be on vacation that week,
Oh, good for you.
but,
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, there's some things going on now that I may have to cancel that, so.
Uh-oh.
Um,
but we
So
can't
it's-
meet on the on
would be-
Monday the 17th, so it's Tuesday the 18th.
Yeah, I'm supposed to come back to work on the 19th, so whether we have it on the 20th or the 24th.
Thursday the 20th?
I really hate that, but,
I was gonna say I'm away.
yeah.
Not that
I'm away
anything
too.
revolves around me. Okay, so you just lost quorum then on the 20th or the 24th.
Unless Kim gets I'm away on the 20th.
Okay.
Okay.
And I would really hate that because I'm just coming back and,
Yeah, it's not good.
Turns into a long.
So the 24th, is that the
It's
a
Monday?
Monday.
Yeah.
So you don't want it that day?
not on the
Is
20th.
that school vacation
No,
week or something?
but the
Is that-
24th is okay?
Oh, we'll figure, yeah.
For
Yeah,
the
with
It is
you.
for-
vacation.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the 24th would work, I
Mhm.
guess.
okay, yeah.
So, and can we just like set it
Yep.
ourselves?
Mhm.
You can. You're the chair. You get to set the
Well-
meetings.
And I'm putting
Isn't
in
that
the
great?
minutes, therefore it's
Okay.
She who writes the minutes rules the world. That's what we say in the
Writing
nonprofit
history
world.
here.
Is that what happened? We don't know, but that's what we voted on. That we said. So
That's
Okay.
great. I'm going to look at colleges with my youngest.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, already?
A year and a half, and they're out.
Oh.
Wait,
I
recording.
remember when your kids
That's
were
okay.
babies. Or really
I
young.
do too.
Okay, shall we
But I mean-
adjourn? Do we need a motion and
Yeah,
all
I-
that stuff?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Seven
yay.
15.
Not
We're going
bad.
to UMass Amherst, UNH, UVM.